I would thank to the God, our Lord, that He has provided me this opportunity to come in front of you and give you an awareness of the living God, so that every person in this world on planet Earth can go towards his salvation. And today our topic to discuss, as I told you in my previous part 1, in Exposing Islam part 1, I told you that in my next debate I would tell you about the identity of Islamic God called Allah. Today our topic is mainly the Islamic deity Allah, and I would tell you the origins of Allah, how this name came into the religion Islam. I would take you from the pre-Islamic times. I would like to tell you, and I would love to inform you, that Arabs in pre-Islamic time were idol worshippers and were called pagan Arabs. And since pagan Arabs were in the whole Arabia, and Arabia was divided among 4 parts, like Eastern Arabia, Western Arabia, Southern Arabia, and Northern Arabia. In different parts of Arabia, there was an idol which was called moon god. They used to worship moon god, and they used to think that moon is a male deity and sun is a female deity, and they both are married to each other, and from their marriage they had 3 daughters which are stars, and the name of the 3 daughters are Allat, Al-Uzza, and Al-Manat. Now this moon god in different parts of Arabia, somewhere around 2100 BC, was called with different names, like its name was Wad, Sin, Muka, Hubal, and in northern Arabia the pagan Arabs used to call this same god, moon god, as Allah. And I would like to tell you that in Kaaba there were 360 idols, and the chief deity of those of Kaaba, which was an idol, was called Allah, because Kaaba is in northern Arabia. People used to worship him, and the people used to take care of the Kaaba, the sacred sanctuary, was called the tribe of, they were the tribe of Quraysh, and the specific name for the very religious people in the tribe Quraysh was called Homs. But we are talking everything before Islamic time, that is pre-Islamic time. Now, the same Allah was worshipped by Homs tribe, and they were very religious and priests of the sanctuary. So, Prophet Muhammad, who came from Arabia and started preaching about the God Allah, was belonging to the same tribe of Quraysh and Homs. We would discuss in our later on stages the whole detail of his tribe and his people, and how he became a prophet of Allah. Now, since people used to worship the same moon god called Allah, I would love to give you some of the references from the holy books of Quran, or you can say authentic book of Quran, so that you can go home and you can go and see the references, and you can come to some of the conclusions. I have many other topics to talk about, but we will stick to this topic, Allah, today. If we see in volume 4, Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 4 and Sahih al-Bukhari volume 5. In volume 4 there's a hadith number 2801, and in volume 5 there's a hadith number 4091. In this we could see the narrator has said that there was a battle of Badr, and in the battle of Badr Prophet was there, and he sent one of his representatives out to negotiate the peace negotiations between his enemies and them. And I'm not going into the exact name by name detail, because when you go home you can read it from Sahih al-Bukhari, you would know everything. But I have a very short time here, so I have to discuss these things with you, so that in another part we can discuss more about other things. I would give you references so that you can go home and check about the references. So in this, he was stabbed at the back and killed, and while he was dying he said Allahu Akbar by the Lord of Kaaba. It is exactly written which I told you in hadiths, you go and see. Now this Lord of Kaaba, we need to see who was this Lord of Kaaba. As I told you before, there were 360 idols, and the chief deity of those idols were called Allah, and who was worshipped by pagan Arabs. Remember, pagan Arabs in pre-Islamic time were idol worshippers. Now, if some scholar of this religion Islam listens to what I'm saying, he might give me an argument that this Allah was supposed to be the unseen God and the living God, who Prophet Muhammad brought the message, and this is the same God after they broke 360 idols in Kaaba, and then Kaaba belonged to Allah and he was the Lord of the Kaaba. This is a very good discussion. But if we go to Sahih al-Bukhari volume 2, which is right here, and we would go to hadith number 1664, so you would see something very interesting. Let me bring it out, 1664 for you, and we would see something which I wanted to explain you. Is in this hadith, I have hadith here which says volume 2, 1664. I would read it for you. Narrated Muhammad bin Jubair bin Mut'im, my father said before Islam. Remember, before Islam word is right here. I was looking for my camel. The same narration is told by a different sub-narrator. Jubair bin Mut'im said, my camel was lost and I went out in search of it on the day of Arafah. Remember, we are talking about the era which was before Islam. And I saw Prophet standing in Arafat. I said to myself, now the person who's saying to myself is not Muslim. He is talking about pre-Islamic time. And he said, by Allah, he is from Homs. Literally, strictly religious Quraysh were called so, as they used to say, we are the people of Allah. Who has brought him here? Now, this hadith proves clearly that Allah was in pre-Islamic times.